And look, she bought everybody sandwiches.
Yo, what it do? It's your boy Jay. I welcome y'all to the All Hell No channel. We're back tonight with a new discovery for you guys and myself to react to. Jump in the comments and tell us your thoughts. Before I start the show tonight, something happened to me today, y'all. I had one of my closest friends hit me up and we were talking about certain situations. This friend said to me, you know, Jay, everybody is not meant to be in your life forever. There are people who are going to be in your life for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 10 years, but everybody plays their part. And once the time for that person or those people to be in your life is up, they're gone.
That boy is good.
I can't help but to think about that advice that my friend lent me in reference to the Carmelo Anthony case. I'm thinking maybe it took such a tragedy of injustice with his defense attorney to basically just sell him out the river for him to get an all-star team who's going to put his best interest at heart, as well as seek to find the truth about everything that happened. Not only seek to find the truth about that, but bring out some of the camera footage that wasn't allowed to be shown with the last case, the last jury. So that's what we're going to get into tonight. We're going to take a look at the new defense team for Carmelo Anthony. We're also going to take a look at some of the newest reactions in reference to what people are thinking about this case, about the verdict that was handed down, as well as what they think about the new defense team. So, as I always say, I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. Continue to support. Only thing I want from you is to like, share, comment, and subscribe. As I always say, grab your favorite boo, your favorite drink, and your popcorn, and y'all, we're going to get right into it. We're going to hit these Instagram streets to find some of the latest reactions in reference to what are the thoughts of the new defense team, as well as what are the thoughts of some of the new findings. Without further ado, let's ride, y'all.
New defense team is on their job, baby. Because now the full clip and clear footage of what happened in those stands is out. And Hunter, you told a little fib, didn't you? Turns out, Hunter is the one that walked right up to Carmelo Anthony. But directly after the incident happened, Hunter went on the news and he said that they sat down and Carmelo was yelling things at them. That never happened. And we know it didn't happen because we have video footage that it never happened. We have video footage of Hunter walking directly up to Carmelo, not Austin, which completely contradicts what Hunter said on the news. This is why they never called Hunter to the stand. And that defense lawyer screwed over Carmelo Anthony. There's no doubt in my mind that all of them are in on this shit together. And they railroaded Carmelo. And that is the reason why they never let Hunter get on the stand. But that new team, baby, oh, they're not playing. And Hunter, you're going to go to jail. Hunter's going to go to jail. And that is exactly what should have happened in the first place.
All right. So look, y'all heard the commentary from her in reference to the new defense team, some of the new findings. She's saying that it wasn't Austin who immediately approached Carmelo. It was his twin brother, Hunter. They're also saying, or she also said, that Hunter did not tell the truth in reference to what happened. If we're going to be honest, I can see that. I can see you wanting to protect your brother's legacy. I can see you not wanting to get yourself in trouble and look like the person who initiated this confrontation. Y'all, I had somebody jump in the comments and they said, you know what, Jay? You show one side. You show one side of the thoughts of African Americans in reference to this case. I want you to do your due diligence and show someone who doesn't agree with you guys. So guess what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to do that. I want to see if this person makes sense, if they have any logic in reference to their opinion of the case. We're going to go ahead and do it. Let's jump into it.
Carmelo got a new defense team. Listen, y'all gonna milk this situation and grift off this situation until the cow is dead. Well, let me show you the defense team. So, of course, they're going to look at the case and see how there any loophole or anything that was done wrong, just to check behind the other lawyers and the judges, right? But trust me, I doubt this does any good. For one, unless any new evidence arise, it's still going to be the same. There's still a confession, there's still a murder weapon, and there's still a dead person. And it's still 20 witnesses. Listen, I don't follow conspiracies, I just follow the facts. So, let's just follow the facts.
You're so stupid.
All right. So this gentleman right here had his own theory in reference to the case. He says, hey, look, I don't care what defense team you go and get, what new defense team you go and assemble. Facts are the facts. Whatever they found in the last verdict, you know, they're going to find it again. I will tell y'all this, though. I was always taught that you cannot trust a man who can't grow facial hair. This guy right here looks at least to be in his mid 40s, almost 50s. And if your own facial hair don't trust you, then why should we? Question. But how do y'all feel about him in reference to his statement saying, hey, it doesn't matter. No matter what the new defense team comes with, the verdict is still going to be the verdict, and that's going to be guilty. Y'all jump in the comments and tell me what you think about that. I have someone next up right now. I'm not always in agreement with this person in reference to some of their logics and ideologies, but I felt it most important to be able to listen to this person's viewpoint of what's going on in the case. Without further ado, let's get into it, y'all.
Why the prosecution didn't allow any black jurors, Loon. Because a black juror with our balanced sense of justice would have saw that there's no way a child could go under a tent and know ahead of time that two white boys are going to come over there to jump him. Him having a knife, it's a complete contradiction for Caucasian nation to say, why did he have a knife? You crackers walk around with guns every day. When you put your gun on your hip this morning, did you do it with the intent to kill anybody? Loon! These white people fight for the right to carry a gun out the house every day. Did you leave your house with the intent to take a life with that gun? No, you didn't. So why are you going to say this little black boy left his house with the intent to shank somebody with a 3-inch blade? Loon, do you really think a 5'8", 135-pound kid armed only with a 3.5-inch knife? Listen to this. Do you really think a 5'8", 135-pound child whose only weapon is a 3.5-inch knife, Loon? Do you really think he wants to take a chance and fight two football players who don't have any weapons? Hell no. That knife is no match for two football players.
Right.
You follow me?
Right.
Imagine Carmelo stands up, and by the way, Carmelo never left his seat. How can he be the perpetrator
But what
He never left his seat, Lou.
what do you say to them?
But wait, this is what I want. Let me finish.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The prosecution know how fair black people are, so he couldn't have any on the jury. And why couldn't he have any on the jury, Loon? Because in the state of Texas, if you're on trial for murder, the verdict of the jury must be unanimous.
Exactly.
If one black person would have made it onto that jury, Carmelo doesn't go to jail for 35 years. The prosecution knew that, which automatically tells you what? The prosecution knew that the case was flawed from the beginning. Why you think they won't show you the video, Loon? They keep showing you grainy videos when you had witnesses out there who said a lot of people videotaped the situation. Most of the kids under the tent taped the case. Loon, they taped it. Why did we never see the clear video? Because if you would have saw a clear video, you would have saw that Carmelo was not just in an altercation, okay, with Austin, right? It was Austin and Hunter. And not only was it Austin and Hunter, there were two other boys. 4 boys tried to jump Carmelo, Loon. 4 of them. This is why they never showed you the video.
Yo, I'm going to tell y'all something. I have been highly skeptical of Dr. Umar in the past. It took him 35 years to build that school that he promised to be up within 1 to 2 years. So I'm going to tell you, I'm highly skeptical of him. But I have to say, I did not know, and you guys tell me if this is wrong, that while in the courtroom, if you live in the state of Texas, that the verdict has to be unanimous.
What you got on my drink?
In order for it to apply. Is that true? Or do you feel like Dr. Umar was reaching in reference to that? Also, get into the comments and tell me what you think about, his rhetoric or his point of view in reference to the fairness of this trial. You guys, what we're going to do right now, however, we're going to take a look at the new all-star defense team for Carmelo. They're saying, look, he is not guilty. We have new findings that will make this case take a 360 turn. And we're going to stand up for what's right. What we're going to end up doing is, like I say, once again, going to a breakdown of who this new 6-person all-star team is. And then from there, we're going to discuss what we think is going on and if we feel like this new team of his will be effective enough to overturn the guilty verdict. Let's see what we got.
Carmelo Anthony, the teenager convicted of murder just 2 weeks ago for the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet last year, has landed himself a new pro bono legal team that is major as his appeal process begins. And I want to be clear about something. These are no lightweights. And I got to ask, does he have a shot at a new trial? Now, this case drew national attention for a number of reasons, including an intensely debated self-defense claim that landed in the hands of a jury, that no black jurors were on that jury, that, remember, Anthony's black, Metcalf was white, both were 17 at the time. Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison, but his new appellate legal team is looking to change all that. This team consists of Russell Wilson II, former Dallas County prosecutor, a top-rated criminal defense attorney with 30 years experience. He's head counsel. Michael L. Ware, director of the Innocence Project of Texas, is second chair. Gary Bledsoe, president of the Texas NAACP and an attorney who specializes in civil rights law. He's third chair. Brooke Clues, described as a skilled litigator and advocate for the disenfranchised with Ben Crump Law. Ben Crump Law, of course, known for its civil rights advocacy. Sean Derdaya, a nationally recognized civil rights and criminal defense lawyer. Justin A. Moore specializes in litigation and civil rights. There is a statement from Anthony's new legal team reads in part, quote, "Our responsibility is to determine whether a legal error occurred and to ensure that every issue supported by the record is fully and vigorously presented on appeal. The appellate process exists for precisely this purpose." Do they have a shot? Joining me now for a closer look is national trial attorney for Mills and Edwards LLP, Dante Mills. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for taking the time. That's quite a team. What does it tell you?
It's quite a team. And it was assembled by Lee Merritt, who's a phenomenal long-term veteran civil rights attorney who pulled this team together. Everybody's working pro bono. And they're putting out the right statement to start. I will say that. They're not saying, oh, he's innocent. Oh, there should be a new trial. They're saying we're going to comb the facts of this case. We're going to comb the record of this trial and see if there was a legal issue. If there was, we're going to put it in front of a judge and have them determine if this appeal should move forward, if it's valid, and if there should be a new trial.
I like the fairness of everybody so far when we're looking at this news clip in reference to what they are saying. Now, I do have to disagree with Damon Wayans here. He said that the defense team came out and said that, hey, we're not saying that he's not guilty. If they thought that he was guilty, they wouldn't take his case, especially at pro bono.
Duh.
They saw some type of injustice that made all six of them collectively get together and say, hey, this was not a fair trial. And we feel like there needs to be an appeal because there was evidence that was hidden. There were witnesses who lied under oath. Once again, and I don't know, and I'm going to say allegedly, they're saying that the knife that Austin got stabbed with was actually his and that it wasn't Carmelo's. I don't know if that's true. I'm hearing that, but I'm always going to give both sides of what it is that I'm hearing. Let's continue to follow this video and see what they say.
Really a legal issue here because at the end of the day, it was never really explained why he had a knife. He didn't take the stand. This idea of bringing a deadly weapon to that altercation didn't seem proportional, didn't seem like the reasonable response. What's the legal issue that they would fight for?
I think you're absolutely right. I think the defense attorney initially in this case dropped the ball with the trial because there was never anything put forward to show that he truly feared for his life. Remember, Carmelo Anthony did not take the stand, right? And you didn't have witnesses coming in saying he looked afraid. Without that evidence, I think was almost impossible to get a verdict of self-defense. That's separate, though, from legal issues. Legal issues,
legal errors,
legal errors. A legal error isn't we think he should have won the case. Sure. A legal error is some evidence came in that should not have.
He didn't even have a fair shot.
Well, he didn't have a fair shot because there was a legal error. It has to be grounded in a legal error, not just, I think his attorney could have done better. It has to be something like this video. I think the biggest issue here is that 12 to 14-minute video that was played after Metcalf, after he was stabbed, dying. I think that was very prejudicial. There was no probative value. I don't think that added to the case, but it was so devastating to watch that video that I think a jury saw that and in their minds may have said, I feel so bad for this victim. There's no way I'm going to go self-defense. So something like that, this legal team could latch on to and say that evidence should not have been presented. It would have impacted the jury and the outcome would have been different. I'm sure the argument, and I'm sure they'll also make the argument that the autopsy photos were incredibly graphic too, but it would show the degree of this attack. It would show how violent it was. The other thing I was thinking of, look, two other issues. One, no black jurors. I don't know if that's going to be an appellate issue that would be successful. And two, I think there was a question about the jury instruction about
no black jurors. You know, the last video that I did about Carmelo Anthony, I had so many people in the comments saying it doesn't matter that the jury was all white. They were going to automatically be fair and stick only to the evidence of the case. That is truly hard for me to believe, you guys. Truly hard for me to believe. I'll tell you this. Do I feel that the jurors should be diverse? Yes. Diverse in ethnicity as well as social class status. It is hard for someone who has never had some racial injustice to feel the pain and or injustice of someone who has. That's totally different. I know there are going to be some people who get in the comments, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, bite it. You don't know what you're talking about. And then some of the other people who are in my comments, look, I know you guys tap dance while you're at work. I know you tap dance while you're at home because you are scared that if you really come out and say, hey, this is injustice, or that there was not a fair trial, that you lose some of your friends.
And we gonna tap dance on your lips.
You lose some of the support of your coworkers. That's what I call cowards. Now, if you truly believe that this was injustice, hey, I respect it. And I can appreciate your opinion. But there are some people right now, such as lawyers that I've seen, who are tap dancing because they feel like if they really come out with the truth, that's going to deter some of the clients potentially that they can get in the future. And to you people who are doing that, I have one word for you: coward. That's what I think about you. Let's continue, guys.
How you frame self-defense and whether if someone's the aggressor or not, can they still be acting in self-defense, if I remember correctly. Do you think any of those issues are going to be successful?
I don't think that the jury issue is going to be successful because
They're going to raise it, though.
they're going to raise it, but the prosecutors put forward a valid reason why they struck those black jurors or those potential black jurors off the panel. They said that because they were educators, they thought educators would have this sympathy for anyone. Remember Carmelo Anthony was a minor; he was 17 years old at the time. An educator could feel that.
What the fuck does being an educator have to do with right or wrong? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. Oh, you're a teacher. So because you're a teacher, I feel that no matter what the evidence that comes out, you're going to go ahead and side with the poor black kid or the middle class black kid. Or you have too much common sense to not be swayed and vote how we want you to vote. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Sympathy for someone and not want to convict them. As long as you have a valid reason, it's hard to prove that the only reason you voted them off is because they were black. It's a hard hurdle.
I got to say, race never played a role in this case. There was never an allegation that Austin Metcalf made a racial comment to Carmelo Anthony. To me, it always seemed like the media was pushing that a lot. But having said that, Austin Metcalf's dad has not been shy with the media. He's grieving. Let's be clear, he's grieving. But he blasted Anthony's parents for not coming to the sentencing. He's blasted people in the media like Sonny Hostin for who questions the verdict. He's also made some remarks. He called Anthony a watermelon felon, his family grifters. Is that going to...
Y'all want to know something? Somebody hopped in my comments. I asked a question to them. And the question, I'm going to paraphrase the question. I said, hey, so the Metcalf dad calling Carmelo a watermelon felon has no racial motive. That person said, oh, well, he was grieving. You're an idiot.
Look, Charles.
And there's so many of you guys who feel the same way that this idiot who got in my comments and said that. Go back and look at the last video. Oh, well, he was a grieving father and he didn't mean that. Man, are you stupid? He meant it. He meant it. You know, for me, my standpoint is, of course, and I always say this, I don't care about black or white, but I do care about injustice. And I do believe that there should be a fair trial. Is it fair that Jeff Metcalf, the DA, and the judge are friends? No, that's not fair. Is it fair that the DA and Carmelo Anthony's defense attorney used to own a law practice together for 10 plus years? That seems like a conflict of interest to me. That's not fair. I am here for the fairness of this case, the fairness of this trial. If it was fair all across the board, you guys, you would hear nothing from me. But the fact that you people, black, white, Chinese, no matter what your ethnicity is, some of y'all look at this and feel like it's still fair. Let me and my buddies get together and let us make judgment on somebody who's done something to one of our kids. I guarantee you guys say, oh, this person should be disbarred. They should recuse themselves from the case. But all of a sudden, that's not an issue. And I know why it's not an issue, and y'all know why it's not an issue. And y'all are cowards. Full stream cowards. Come on now.
To affect the appeal at all?
Not at all. I think any judge will look at this and say, let's separate the two. I think it's sad that he's stooping to this level, despite the fact that he's grieving. Everyone should get an allotment for grieving. But remember, there's two families grieving here. This was, no matter how you look at it, a horrible mistake that happened and a life was taken. And Carmelo Anthony will potentially be in jail for the next maybe 20.
Yeah, you sound like an idiot too. You came up with an excuse. Now, let me say this about Carmelo Anthony's family. For them not being there the last day of the trial, as well as the sentencing. I'm truly and highly disappointed in them. It's nothing that anybody can say that could convince me otherwise in reference to why they were not present. Truly disappointed. Now I feel that that's cowardice. Why not be there for your child, good, bad, or indifferent, on something that could potentially be the worst day of their lives? I'll never get that. I will not defend his parents in reference to that. I think they are super weak for that. But one of the things I had to tell myself is, no matter how I feel about his parents and them being super timid, super shy, super weak, not strong at all, no backbone, I tell myself it's more than them. It's not even about them as we talk about it. It's about Carmelo. I had to differentiate the two. Because I'll tell you this, his parents will make you not like him. But you have to differentiate the two. So yes, I am not in agreement with how his parents handle things from the beginning to the end in reference to support for their child. But I'm also not in agreement with the racist rhetoric that has been spewed. I'm not going to say because you're grieving, you can go out and slang all type of racial slurs and that should be, we should look the other way. No. And anybody who agrees with that is an idiot. I tell it to you and whoever is faced, you're stupid. What I look at is when the watermelon felon statement came from Jeff's mouth, that's how he's been feeling. No matter whether Carmelo did something to his son or somebody else's son. They say two things bring out true feelings in people: alcohol and anger. And I believe both.
Years. So his family is grieving as well. they have the right to not want to go to a sentencing where the entire point of that sentencing is going to be to hear bad things about their son, to hear how their son impacted someone else's life. They have the right to say, I don't want to hear that. I
You're
sat through the
stupid.
trial. He knows he has our support. I don't want to go to the sentencing. They have the right to do that if that's the way that they grieve after their son was found guilty of murder. I don't think we should really, look to point to anyone's father in this position. Give everybody their
Totally
space.
fair.
Leave race.
Only so much stupidity I can take in one sitting, you guys. However, I do want to know what your thoughts are in reference to the new legal defense team for Carmelo. Do you think that there will be a different verdict from this appeal? Do you think that the same verdict will stand? What are you guys' thoughts? Or do you feel like, hey, nobody should be fighting for Carmelo right now? He should just do his sentence, the 35 years, and let that be that, and let's move on to something else. I'm open to all discussions in reference to this case and the findings and or lack thereof. I just want to stop with you guys momentarily to introduce the new legal team, catch up with some of the latest reactions in reference to some of the new findings for this case. It's your boy Jay. I appreciate y'all for stopping in, checking in with me tonight. I'll see y'all soon. Take it easy.